call you pediatrician. Dr. Hunter?
Pediatrician, are you serious?
Pam, this grown man don't need no pediatrician.
Ain't nobody said pediatrician.
Hello everybody, I'm Coco Cosmos. It's currently 3:15 a.m. and I've decided to watch Jumping the Broom again. No particular reason, but I absolutely love Angela Bassett. She has to be one of my favorite actresses. This is Sabrina. She vows to not give up the goods until she finds her future husband, and coincidentally, she runs into him. Literally. This is Jason. She starts rambling when she's nervous, but he promises that he's fine. They date for 5 months, and Sabrina has a job offer in China. She asks if they can do long distance, and he does one better. A proposal. She says yes, and the foolery begins. So Miss Angela plays Sabrina's mom, Claudine, and this lady you may recognize from Modern Family. Good show, highly recommend. But in this movie, she plays the ignorant white woman / wedding planner. So while they're putting everything together, Claudine is worried about how rushed the wedding is, because she's only known this man about 6 months. And this is how we find out that Sabrina has never met Jason's family before now, days before the wedding. Sigh. This is Jason's mom, Pam. She hates Sabrina simply for existing. This is Pam's friend Shonda. She tells her to relax pretty much the whole movie. Sabrina's dad, Greg, calls her mom and lets her know that he's on the way to the house. He's just a little late.
Greg, I can't keep up this charade.
He's got a secret. Back to Jason's mom. He's reminiscing about the good old days and her own wedding when she goes to find her broom so it could be jumped over. If you don't know why she wants it, don't worry, she'll tell you. So Sabrina and Jason are on the beach speaking with the pastor on which scriptures they would like to use. Jason wants to make his mom happy, Sabrina says it's their wedding and not hers, and the pastor points out a scripture talking about how husband and wife become one. Sabrina loves that one. The family is hanging out on the ferry that takes them to their car that was sent. This is Jason's uncle, Willie Earl. He hits on this woman the whole movie. This is Sabrina's aunt, Geneva. Big Dee from Half and Half. She's not giving him the time of day. Jason's mom is fussing about the car that was sent for them, but no one cares. Claudine is stressed meeting these people for the first time and is in no mood for shenanigans. But first up, Geneva. She's not very fond of her sister. This is Jason's cousin, Malcolm. He very much subscribes to the crabs in a bucket mentality. Everyone's gushing over how beautiful and rich looking everything is, except for Pam, who's a hater. They've arrived. Sabrina comes on a bit strong and her mom does give them a compliment, but Jason's mom decides to insult them and tries to play it off. The whole family kinda acts like they've never been anywhere before, besides the best friend. Sigh. Pam is kinda protective over her one pie that she made, and when Sabrina asks for the recipe, she gets even more defensive. She sure is giggly and blushes over Sabrina's dad though. Now she's found out that she was excluded from a dinner because Jason, her son, said she was too busy. She's mad at the rich people though. This is Blythe, the maid of honor. Malcolm hits on her saying that he's the best man, but she's not into it. Pam is still hating the rich people in the room she's staying in and blaming Sabrina for everything.
It wasn't Jason. He'd never do that to me. It was that little ugly girl in that teeny tiny dress.
All she does is fuss the entire movie. Sabrina comes to check on her though, and double checks about the dress fitting. Jason was supposed to tell his mother, but didn't. This will be a pattern. Pam then starts making fun of the way she speaks for some reason. Like, it didn't matter if she said optics or pictures. She can draw conclusions. I know this woman isn't ignorant. She's still mad about a text message too. She's filled with mean spirit.
Well, he said they seem like chicken people to him, and I thought that sounded a little bit offensive, but given the history of our country,
Sigh. Sabrina's friends are all talking about how Jason's family is, but he's the exception. This movie feels very segregation-y, and you know what I'm talking about. Oh, and Malcolm finds out that he's not the best man. Sabrina's friend, Ricky, is. Mr. Derwin Davis. Oh, and there's a running joke about how Sabrina and Jason aren't smashing. This happens.
Excuse me. Watch the stories.
Okay.
So as you can imagine, they want each other desperately. Sabrina's mom and dad are irritated at each other, mostly because she thinks he's having an affair. The friends are talking again, with Sabrina this time, and they say Blythe's standards are too high. God damn it, keep your high standards. If he can't obtain them, he ain't for you. Don't settle for the bare minimum.
I'm a hermaphrodite.
I don't care what your religion is.
Case in point. This is also a thing. This is Sebastian. He likes older women, specifically Shonda. Another running joke that she's gonna get locked up for messing with him. Jason's talking to his mom because she's acting up over lunch. He likes soul foods, not sashimi. Apparently. Now everyone's at dinner where things continue to go downhill with her. She decides to say a prayer, and all she does is blatantly talk shit to God about these people. Have you no shame? Are you not embarrassed? Of course not. She feels justified in this behavior.
If that was a blessing, you going to hell.
She's called out and people are trying to defuse when Sabrina says they're not doing the electric slide at the reception, in which disbelief is shown. Unheard of at a black wedding.
Figures that your kind would think that way.
This movie feels like black people being racist to each other. Dear Lord. Jumping the broom comes up, and when Brina says no to that too, Pam is up in arms. They must jump the broom.
The slaves were not allowed to marry. Jumping the broom was the only way that they could show their union.
Now, excuse me. I've only ever been to one wedding, but no brooms were jumped. Is that still a common occurrence? I'm sure some families still do it, but I don't think it's as widely done as this movie lets on.
My family weren't slaves.
Are you so sure of that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they owned slaves.
Oh heavens. French is being thrown around, and Greg tries to appease Pam again by asking Sabrina to at least consider the broom. Then Geneva walks in fashionably late and starts singing Sexual Healing, knowing about Sabrina and Jason's thing. Everybody is moving to it too. Is this not weird? Why does everyone know that they aren't boning? And why do they care so bad? What is this? Jason's a wimp. He tries to talk to his mom, but ultimately he concedes. Willie Earl comes to talk to her and tells her that she was incredibly rude and that it's Jason's life. Well, Pam basically said if he wasn't gonna stand by whatever she said, why'd he even come? It's clear that she was one of those people. She walks off and hears Geneva and Claudine arguing. A couple slaps were thrown, secrets were revealed, and Pam overhears that Geneva is actually Sabrina's birth mom. But because she was too young and irresponsible for a kid, and Claudine couldn't have any, Sabrina was adopted.
I usually don't talk to dark-skinned girls, but I'm making an exception for you.
This guy is the worst. Sabrina and Jason are arguing over the broom, and Jason is still appeasing his mom, so Sabrina says she's not sure she even wants to marry Jason right now. I don't blame her. He's not performing his husbandly duties right now. She calls him a big-ass mama's boy. Here comes his cousin instigating. Jason doesn't even like him that much because, guess what? Crabs in a bucket. His cousin only comes around for money, and y'all know how I feel about that. Claudine's sad and tipsy. Greg finally breaks the news to her.
We're broke.
He's not cheating. He just lost all of their money. Of course, she's more upset, as one would be. We're talking a retirement fund gone type broke. She tells him to take the couch tonight, but he declares that he will be taking the bed, and she could come if she wants. Pam's gossiping about what she overheard. Jason's people are bitching about the party. Sabrina says she's ready to go home, but Jason isn't. Jason is acting up now.
I called my mom. She said I can stay out as late as I want tonight, so don't be a brat.
He's learned nothing. Now there's a debate. Jason's cousin thinks Sabrina needs to be put in her place. Ricky thinks he needs to go fix things and quickly because they're getting married. He's just here. And Jason plays both sides because he's good at that. Blythe and the chef start making out in what's supposed to be their undies, I guess, when he burns something on the stove and everyone comes down to see the ruckus. They got there in record time, might I add. Sabrina and Jason talk through the door because she doesn't want to look at him because he's been an ass all night. But eventually, they make up and pinky promise. Whole lot of coupled up scenes in which the women aren't interested except for Blythe. Football! Because they gotta get their shirts off for whatever reason. Then Jason ends up hurt because his cousin is a butthole. Pam is still a butthole to Sabrina. Sabrina apologizes though, but says they're still not gonna jump the broom.
Last night, arguing, oh, it was pretty heated.
Oh my god? She's so upset at the fact that she can't just take Jason back home, and at the suggestion of getting Jason some ice for his injury, that she just straight up tells her that her parents aren't her bio parents. Claudine and Geneva confirm it, and she's heartbroken. All of this is happening in front of company, by the way. Sabrina gives Jason the ring back and said this is his fault, which it is. He didn't check his mom. She then drives far away from there. Now Jason wanna do what he's supposed to do. Pam says God told her to do it, and that's incredulous. So this whole time, Pam hated Sabrina for Jason keeping them separate. Then he drops some wisdom that I think a lot of moms need to hear for real.
You treat me like I'm either a little boy or your husband, and I'm neither.
From Willie Earl, and says something else so important.
You know, it's real funny how people like to apologize after they do something bad. It's real funny.
Everybody's stressed out now and going to look for Sabrina. Malcolm makes some wise-ass remark about being best man again and gets socked. Geneva is the one to find Sabrina, and they have a long, heartfelt talk, answering all of her questions. Then Geneva takes her to Jason so they can have a convo, in which she starts panicking again, because again, he didn't stand up for her in the slightest until she left. And he knew very well how his mom was. He knows she would have run her off at some point, so I have no clue why he kept acting like she wasn't the problem. He was very aware of his mom's weird behavior. They make up anyways. Pam says sorry and gets to stay for the wedding.
I don't want to live life unless you're in it. You're my man.
They get married and even jump the broom.
We're just in two different places in our lives, and ShondaPeterkin@gmail.com.
Mandatory black wedding line dance. They did the Cupid shuffle instead. All that fuss just to do all the shit anyways. It's like the back half of this movie didn't even matter.
What is this dance?
Oh, it's the Cupid Shuffle.
What's that?
Y'all can't convince me that white people don't know what the Cupid shuffle is.
You cannot trick me! You cannot trick me!
But what do y'all think? Would you have still married into this family? I for sure wouldn't have. Let me know in the comments below. Coco Cosmos out.